Mega Rising, the newest Pokemon TCG Pocket set, is finally here, and we're also reining in the first year anniversary of Pokemon Pocket. I'm excited. It's been a while since we've had a pretty, game-changing set, all things considered. I think the Mega Pokemon are going to add a lot to that, and so we're going to be opening a ton of packs. So let's go ahead and get into it. I first off have free packs, and then I have the gifted packs, and then we'll just go ahead and spend a bunch of hourglasses, and we'll see what we get. So I've always been a Blaziken fan, so I think I'm going to use my free packs today on him to kick things off. Let's go ahead and see what we get in pack number 1. I haven't looked too much into this set, so I might read actually some of these cards to see what they do. So we got a Silcoon, which is just hardened during our opponent's next turn. Prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks if this damage is 40 or less. We have a Timpole. I've never seen this Pokemon before. For context, I kind of stopped around Gen 4, Gen 5, and then I played X and Y, and then I played Scarlet and Violet, so I missed a lot of stuff in between. So some of these may not even look familiar to me, but that's just a guy. Luxio, I always loved Luxray from Gen 4. And Heatmore, it is a Tongue Whip, Fire Energy. This attacks does 30 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. Interesting. And Xatu, Zen Headbutt for 80 on 3. Nothing too crazy there to kick things off, but it's a bunch of new cards, so we will go ahead and take it. And then for our second pack here, let's go ahead and switch it up. Let's go ahead and do the... we'll do the Gyarados one. Why not? Knock out all these free packs while we have them. All right, Seismitoad, 2 water energy and a generic for a 90 attack. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now confused. Pidgeotto is just a 2 anything for 40. Dino is a 1 dark for 20 on Headbutt. Phantump is 2 green for a 40 attack. Palisand is double fighting energy and a generic for 70. Heal 20 damage from this Pokemon. That's very interesting on a fighting type Pokemon of all things, but a bunch of new cards. We will take it. Okay, so that does it for our free packs for the day that we were hoarding and saving up. Next up, I believe if you log in that there are one of each of the new pack that were gifted to us, courtesy of the company. So let's go ahead and claim those really quick here. So we'll start off with Blaziken again, not in any particular order. All right, Seismitoad, we got Patrat, which is just generic 20 on a bite. Corphish, he's so cute, with a water gun for 20. Misdreavus, a psychic for double spin 20. Flip 2 coins, it does 20 damage for each heads. Pyroar is a discard 2 energy from this Pokemon. Fire Blast, which is double fire and a generic energy for 130. So that's pretty big. I'm so used to the Deluxe EX packs because we just had that all last month where every time you were getting an EX. You know, it's kind of weird to go back to normal the way things were when you're not just getting spoon-fed EXs left and right, but it is what it is. Okay, next up is the Altaria Mega Pack, I believe. That's what it looks like. So let's see what we get out of this one. Galvantula, just 50 for 1 electric energy ball. Sandshrew, which is just 1 fighting for Sand Spray. Pampor, which is beat. Spritzy, nothing crazy there. And Sliggoo, which is a water and a psychic for a 60 gentle slap. So no crazy pulls so far. I mean, we've got a bunch of new stuff, but that's to be expected from a new set. Really hoping we get at least 1 Mega to show off. I think that would be pretty cool. Or just, of course, any of the crazy full arts or any of the fun stuff that the pack has. I'm not sure what the crown rare is. I'd have to look. But let's go ahead and open the Gyarados pack to finish off our free packs here. We got Drudgeon. I remember this from set 2 or whatever when he was just the best lead because he had rough skin. But this one is Giga Claw. It's a fire, a water, and double generic. Flip 2 coins if they're both tails. The attack does nothing, but it's 120. Another Xatu, a Pachirisu, attack the wound, 30 plus for an electric and a generic. If your opponent's active Pokemon has damage on it, this does 30 more damage. Interesting, just rush him down. Pansage, and a Jolteon EX. This card's actually really interesting. I was doing some of the battles, and that's when I actually encountered this. So Jolteon EX is a 140 HP, double electric energy Mach Bolt for 80. That's already fine, but the ability is what's really interesting. It's electromagnetic wall. As long as this Pokemon is in the active spot, whenever your opponent attaches an energy from their energy zone to one of their Pokemon, do 20 damage to that Pokemon. So it's kind of like Darkrai, but in reverse. So instead of you putting the energy on Darkrai to deal 20 to something, they're putting the energy on and it deals 20 as long as this is in the active spot. This is a good rush down. I mean, it's pretty weak because it's only 140, compared to some of the other EXs that might be like 160, 170, 180. But I think it's meant to be a very aggressive Pokemon, and I think that's, I don't think it's too bad. I think there might be something there, especially because if you can just keep him out, it just attacks every single turn, right? So, like I said, it's sort of like reverse Darkrai in a way. I'm not sure if that's good, because Darkrai, obviously, being a bit more selective, I think is a little bit better, but interesting effect nonetheless. Okay, we got 1 billion hourglasses to spend, so let's go ahead and kick things off with our good old pal Blaziken. Let us open a nice 10-pack here. And let us go crazy. All right, let's see what we get. Any rainbows? 1 rainbow. Okay, looked like it was like pack 6, I think. Okay, so we got a... yeah, I'll just go ahead and wait till we get to the end for anything to talk about. Pidgeot, Golduck, Psyduck. Very funny, those are in the same pack. Honedge, and another Pyroar. Timpole, Seedot, Cascoon, Ferrothorn, and we have a Trevenant. 60 on 2 green for heal 20 from this Pokemon. Torchic, Skrelp, another Skrelp, Xatu, and another Pidgeot. We got Durant, Sandygast, Palpitoad, Corvisquire, and a Mismagius. Wurmple, Heatmore, Ponyta, Ho-Oh. This is a 120 and double fire, double generic for a 100 attack, heal 30 damage from each of your bench basic Pokemon. And another Trevenant. I believe this was the pack that had a rainbow in it. It was pack 6 here. So there's Pidgey, there's Spritzy, there's Breloom, there's Marini. I don't think I've seen this one before. It is a Dark Poison Sting, which just makes your opponents think poison. And there's our first, I guess, full art is a Makuhita. Very cute art. Nothing too crazy there, though. We got a Luxio, a Miltank, 40 for 2 generic. Flip a coin if head, your opponent's active Pokemon is now paralyzed. Durant is 1 metal and 1 generic. If it's on your bench, this does 40 more damage, so you want to have multiple of those. That's what it incentivizes you for. Pidgey, and another full art in Beautifly. Getting a lot of the Gen 4 stuff, apparently. This is a 1 grass for skill dive. This attack does 50 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon. Interesting. Can be a bit selective there. Got another Ponyta, a Litleo, a Crawdaunt, a Golett, and another Mismagius. And a EX Rapidash to kick things off on our final pack here. This is a 150 triple fire for 110 sprinting flare. Does 20 damage to one of your opponent's benched Pokemon. Interesting. We started off with the EX, so I thought for a second we got a God Pack, but we did not. Pinsir is just double green and a generic for a 50 plus. If they flip a coin, if it's heads, the attack does 50 more damage. So it's kind of like, what's it called? The Executor. That's kind of like what this effect reminds me of, except Executor's cheaper. It's like 40 and multiplies up to 80, but it only costs 2, and I think that's a big difference because you can start hitting a turn early. Mischievous, Palpitoad, and Prank Spinner. This is our first item, I believe. So this is a card from among both players' hands is chosen at random, revealed to the other player, and shuffled into its owner's deck. So you -1 yourself. A card is randomly picked from both players' hands and shuffled back into the deck. I mean, it is a way to disrupt your opponent, but if you don't know what they have, there are ways to look at your opponent's hand. There's like the scope. Silver also lets you look at their hand. I'm not... I don't know. That seems like weird. Oh, that was only pack 9. I'm sorry. We got Frou-Frou, which has the ability that you... this takes 20 less damage from attacks. We got Stuffle. We got Sudowoodo, which has Fight Back for 2 fighting. If this Pokemon has damage on it, the attack does 50 more damage, up to 80. We got Phantump, and we have Braviary, and that is it for our first 10-pack. So, we got 1 EX. I guess that's something, but nothing super crazy to write home about. So we will take it. Let's go ahead and do... I'm feeling Altaria next. I think that's probably where we want to go. So let's see here. We got to go back. All right. I think I'm going to do probably 20 of each, so we'll just go and just keep rotating around. All right, let us see what we get. We had 1. Ooh, looked like a double rainbow. All right, Carbink. Guard press during your opponent's turn. The Pokemon takes negative 30 damage from attacks. Got another Trevenant again. Simipour. Fury Swipes. Flip 3 coins. 40 damage for each heads. Water and generic for 40x, so 120. That's, like, not bad, but it's a coin flip effect. Sandygast, Gothorita, and that is it for pack number 1. Jirachi, Star Drop, 1 Psychic Energy on a 50 basic. This does 30 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon. So interesting. This allows you to, like, for very cheaply, actually rush down your opponent's stuff if you're in Psychic. So if you already hit something, instead of relying on like a Sabrina or a Cyrus or something, like Jirachi can actually rush it down. That's kind of interesting. Spritzy, we have a Swablu, which just can make your opponent's active Pokemon go to sleep. Another Spritzy, and another Trevenant. We are just getting Trevenants left and right here. Mareep, Mischievous, Palpitoad, Ambipom, Excited Tail. Flip 2 coins, 30 damage for each heads. If it has Lucky Mittens attached, flip 4 coins instead. That sounds irritating. Galvantula, rounding out that pack. Gothorita, Litwick, Wooloo, which is Continuous Tumble for 40x on 2 generic. Flip a coin until you get tails. This attack does 40 damage for each heads. Sandshrew, and a Full Art Gothita. That's very cute. That's a very fun card. I think Brittany will like that one a lot. Galvantula, Maractus, I believe. Dazzle Dance. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now confused for 1 green and 1 generic. Sableye, Dirty Throw for 70. 2 Psychic Energy. Discard a card from your hand. If you can't, this attack does nothing. Interesting. Sandy Gas, and there's the Lucky Mittens for the Ambipom. When your opponent's Pokemon is knocked out by damage from an attack used by the Pokemon this card is attached to, draw a card. When your opponent's Pokemon is knocked out by damage from an attack used by the Pokemon this card. So you have to knock their Pokemon out, and if you do, you get to draw a card as a result of that. That's really interesting. You can just hold on to this until you know you're going to knock them out, and then not only do you knock them out, you get to draw as well. That's interesting. That might actually see play. That's pretty, like, decent. All right, Pampor, Petalil, Lampent, Heatmore, and Ampharos. 90 for Zapping Bullet, which is double electric and a generic. One of your opponent's bench Pokemon chosen at random. It also does 20 damage to it. A lot of stuff going after the bench in this set, I noticed. We got Spritzy, another Spritzy, Impidimp. I've never seen this guy before. Hilarious. Crawdaunt, and a Seismitoad. Another Impidimp. Morgrem, False Surrender, double Dark Energy for 50. This attack damage isn't affected by effects of your opponent's active Pokemon. Interesting. We got a Natu, we got a Mareep, and we got a Driftblim. Balloon Barrage for 20 plus with a Psychic and a Generic. This attack does 20 more damage for each energy attached to this Pokemon. Interesting. Then we got Skiddo, we got Swirlix, we got Citrus Berry. This is new. At the end of each turn, if a Pokemon this card is attached to is half of its maximum HP or less remaining, heal 30 damage from it. If you do, discard this card. So it's very much like Citrus Berry from the actual games, as a matter of fact, because that's sort of how it works. So interesting, because this is basically a better potion, because potion only heals for 20, but it is susceptible to being removed by, like, Guzma and other, like, tool removal things. And it's not like it's hidden. You know, like when you're playing like the Pokemon games, like you don't know what item they're holding. They know you have a Citrus Berry. So they can just sort of play around it, because if they just know to hit high enough that it just KOs you instead of triggering the Citrus Berry, then they just don't trigger the Citrus Berry. So interesting card. It might still see play, but it's kind of, I don't know. I don't know if I think the cons might outweigh the pros, but maybe I'm not thinking about it more critically. Anyway, Rillaboom, Captivating Rhythm. Once during your turn, you may flip a coin. If head, switch one of your opponent's bench Pokemon to the active spot. That's kind of interesting. So it's basically a Cyrus on its ability, but it's a coin flip. Then its attack is 120 for 4. That's kind of a lot. It's also a stage 2, but you can just rare candy it, so I guess that doesn't really matter. That's interesting, though. We got Swablu. Woo! There we go. Our first big hit of the video, Dialga EX Shiny. Holy crap, that looks sick. It's just the Dialga EX from, like, what, set 2, set 3? But man, does that look awesome. Holy shit, that's great. Okay, we'll take it. Our last pack here, we got Dubwool, we have Maractus, we have Gothita, we got Litwick, and there we go, the Mega Altaria EX. I want to at least show off one of these in the video, and I'm happy that we pulled at least one. So if you're uninformed, the Megas are just basically something that you would evolve typically. Instead of going into an Altaria, you go to Mega Altaria EX. And the big difference here is that if your opponent knocks one of these out, they take all 3 points instead of just 2 for a regular EX. So basically, if this gets KO'd, you're losing the game 100%. So, depending on which of these Mega EXs you're going to be playing, some want to be used very early on, and there's like the risk reward of like, if this gets KO'd, you lose, but it's very powerful. And some have this interesting dynamic where you want to play them very late, because you could have like a 1-point Pokemon get knocked out, a 1-point Pokemon get knocked out, then play your Mega, and then it doesn't matter if you're going to have 3 points get taken by the opponent, because you're going to lose regardless of what was going to get KO'd. So that's like sort of the dynamic, and I think it's interesting. It just adds a bit more dimension to the game. So this is Mega Altaria EX, obviously evolved from Swablu. It does 2 Psychic Energy for Mega Harmony, which is 40 plus. Does 30 more damage for each of your benched Pokemon. So you can make this hit up to a maximum of 130, I believe. 90 plus 40. Yeah, that's 130, which is pretty good. That's like very hyper aggressive considering it's just 2 Psychic Energy to do that. You can very easily start swinging like on turn 2, and if you can just fill your bench, kind of reminds me of what is it, like Pikachu from the first set with a Circle Circuit or whatever. But 190 HP is a huge stat line, and 130 can start taking out a lot of things very quickly. Like I said, I think this is like one of the more aggressively statted ones that you want to like start hitting with early, but there's the risk that you could just lose the game immediately. Cool dynamic though, so we will go ahead and take it. That was a great 10-pack. We got the Shiny Dialga and we got the Mega Altaria. No complaints. Okay, I guess we also just pulled a billion cards because that's what we get the update for here. So next up is what? Gyarados. To get the Mega Gyarados EX pack next. We'll go ahead and hopefully see if the luck continues. All right, where are you, Gyarados? There we go. All right, another 120 down. Let's see if we can get as lucky. That's going to be a pretty tough one to beat, but that last 10-pack was pretty damn good. And it looks like we got, 3 rainbows. Okay. Bergmite. We got Turtonator. Again, some of these I've never seen before, so I apologize if I butchered the name. It's a Shell Trap. Double fire range. During your opponent's next turn, if this Pokemon is damaged by an attack, do 20 damage to the attacking Pokemon. We got Dino. We got Arrokuda. And we got a Breloom. Pidgeotto, Loudred, Hippowdon, double fighting, and a generic for Crashing Fangs. For 100, flip a coin. If tails during your next turn, this Pokemon can't attack. Another Arrokuda and a Barascuda. I believe that's how that's pronounced. It's just double edge. Can do for 80. Kind of whatever. We got another one of those. We got Zigzagoon. We got Patrat. We got Hitting Hammer. New item. Flip 2 coins. If both of them are heads, discard a random energy from your opponent's active Pokemon. Flipping 2 heads is 25% chance. I think that's too RNG, but it is what it is. And we got Avalong, Frost Barrier for 70, double water energy and a generic. During your opponent's next turn, this Pokemon takes minus 20 damage from attacks. Bit bulky there. We got Breloom, we got Chatot, we got Miltank, we got Aromatisse, which has Confounding Cologne for 40 and 1 Psychic. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now confused. And we got a Pansage and a Shiny Oricorio. So we can continue to piss off all those Giratina Darkrai players. But this time be even more annoying because it's shiny. Getting a decent amount of shinies, though. Next up, we got Skitty. We got Roly-Coly. We got Zwillius, Zigzagoon, and we got Copycat. I completely just skipped over that. Hopefully get another one. Joltik, Dino, Turtonator, Loudred, and another full art in Jellicent. So this is a 120 HP. It has Bouncy Body. If this Pokemon is in your active spot and is damaged by an attack from your opponent's Pokemon, take an energy from your energy zone and attach it to one of your benched Pokemon. Interesting. And then it has Surf for 60 and 2 Water. God, I feel like Water gets so much of like the energy ramp, and then it always just sort of like falls flat, like 9 times out of 10. Maractus, Miltank, Carkol, Shroomish, and another Breloom. Then we got Pidgeotto, Crawdaunt, Dino, Roly-Coly, and a Drapion. I always like this guy. Stun Poison, 50 for 2 Dark, and a generic. Flip a coin. If head, your opponent active Pokemon is now poisoned and paralyzed. Interesting. Pansage, Zigzagoon, Galvantula, Joltik, and another full art in Cofragris. I don't know how to pronounce that. I remember I've seen this guy before, but I don't think I played the game that he was initially in. It is a Stage 1 120. It has Soul Shot for 2 Psychic for a 120 attack. Discard 2 cards from your hand. If you can't discard 2 cards, this attack does nothing. Very aggressive, but you need to have a lot of cards to back it up. And then for our last pack, Pidgey, Durant, Phantump, Aromatisse, and a Xatu. So we got the Shiny Oricorio in this one, but that's basically it. So nothing crazy there, unfortunately. But one Shiny is still a Shiny. I guess it's not the end of the world. All right, let's go ahead and go back to our good old pal Blaziken here. We're slowly running out of our hourglasses. I think we should have just enough for another 10 on each of these. So let's see. Couple rainbows there. Sandygast, Hariyama, slapping knockdown, triple fighting, and a generic for 110. Before doing damage, start all Pokemon tools from your opponent's active Pokemon. We got Dust Skull, which ambush, 1 psychic, 10 plus. Flip a coin of heads, it does 30 more damage. Shinx, Palisand, and that's it for pack 1. We got Archen, we got Natu, Rookidee, Pidgeotto, and whoa! Holy shit, that looks fucking sick! Full art Mega Blaziken EX. Oh my god, look at that. It's, oh, if you know Yu-Gi-Oh, it kind of reminds me of like the Ghost Rares. You see that on the right side of him there, how there's like an after image sort of thing? Except this looks way cooler because the whole card isn't entirely white. But man, that looks fucking sick. Oh man, that rocks. All right, Worth. All right, we still have Palpitoad, Pansear, Miltank, Hariyama, and Sandslash. Zigzagoon, Nuzleaf, Litleo, Pidgey, and Linoon. Natu, Pidgeot, Ferroseed, Phantump, and whoa, that looks fucking sick. Oh man, the full art Luxray. Oh, that is insane, dude. 130 HP on a stage 2. Flash Impact does 110 for an electric and a generic. This does 20 damage to one of your benched Pokemon. Interesting. Well, that's like a downside that you don't really care about. Breloom, Pinsir, Pidgey, Shroomish, and Arcanine. Fire Fang for 50. Double fire. Flip a coin if your opponent's active Pokemon is now burned. Smagius, Chatot, Stuffle, Duskull, and Archen. Frou-Frou, Blitzel, Litleo, Cascoon, and a full art Rufflet. Cute one. Sandshrew, Dusclops, Silcoon, Seedot, and Ferrothorn. For our last pack, Breloom, Pansear, Shroomish, Palpitoad, and a Crawdaunt. We only had one hit, but to be fair, it was probably one of the coolest hits we could have gotten. Man, this card looks so sick, dude. Oh my god. I'm hyped. I'm curious what the other two full art equivalents look like. Because if Blaziken looks that good, I can only imagine what the other two look like as well. Maybe we'll get them. Who knows? We still have a chance. Okay. Altaria. Let's go. We got to start dipping into the Pokemon Gold here. Hopefully my math is right and we have enough. Otherwise, we might have a problem here. But it is what it is. We'll see. Oof, no rainbows, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's the end of the world. All right, Joltik, Pentilil, Toxapex, Venoshock for your opponent's active Pokemon's poison. This does 70 more damage. 2 dark, 50 plus, so 70. It is a stage 1, though. Interesting. Swirlix and Mismagius. Joltik, Aromatisse, Corphish, Sudowoodo, and Morgrem. Spritzy, Wooloo, Driftblim, Corphish, and Lombre. Another Lucky Mittens, Corphish, Misdrevious, Heatmore, and Gothitelle. Stellar Cradle is 2 Psychic and 70. During your opponent's next turn, if they attach energy from the energy zone to the defending Pokemon, that Pokemon will be asleep. Yamper, Mareep, Maractus, Lucky Mittens, and Slurpuff. Chatot, Double, Lotad, Timple, and Trevenant. Joltik, Corphish, Sandygast, Citrus Berry, and Boltund. Swablu, Sableye, Trevenant, Goomy, which has Sticky Membrane. As long as this Pokemon's in the active spot, attacks used by your opponent active costs 1 generic more. That's interesting. I don't think we've seen a tax effect like that yet. And Virizion, Sacred Sword is 2 grass and a generic. During your next turn, this Pokemon can't use Sacred Sword. And another one, Wooloo, Gothita, Pidgeot, Ferroseed, and a shiny Meowth. Okay, this has been like the only hit we got in this 10-pack, but it is a shiny, so it is what it is. Lycia, this is put 2 random basic Pokemon with 50 HP or less from your deck into your hand. That's a cool way to sort of add consistency in like a bit of a roundabout way. It is a supporter, so that's going to be the only thing you're doing for the turn, but for certain decks, this is actually quite strong. I could see that seeing a lot of play. Pidgey, Simipour, Sandygast, Galvantula, and that does it for the Altaria 10. We only really got the shiny Meowth. Everything else was kind of a dud, unfortunately, but that's sometimes how it goes. We have crazy sets like the one with the Dialga and the Altaria, and then sometimes you have ones that just have basically nothing. All right, last one. I did do the math right on this. We have exactly 60 Pokegold, so we are able to use it all up. And let's see what happens. We got one little rainbow right at the end, so we got something to look forward to at the very minimum there. Drudgeon, Loudred, Chatot, Toxapex, and Turtonator. Pidgeot, Natu, Roly-Coly, Arrokuda, and Marlin. Heal 70 damage from your Caracosta or Jellicent. Jellicent seemed okay. Ferroseed, Phantom, Breloom, Sandygast, and Wailord. Haven't seen this yet. 200 HP. That's huge on a stage 1. Whale Pump is 4 generic, 60 plus. This attack does 10 more damage for each water energy attached to it. So if you're playing water, this does 100. 200 HP is massive, though, but Wailord's always been tanky like that. Sandshrew and a full art Hydreigon, or Hydreigon. Again, this is one from an era I didn't really play in, so I apologize. Cool art, though. Ability is Roar in Unison. Once during your turn, you may take 2 Dark Energy from your Energy Zone attached to this Pokemon. If you do, do 30 damage to this. And Hyper Ray is 130. Discard all energy from this Pokemon. Interesting. So you could immediately, theoretically, play this, use the ability, put the Dark Energy on it. It loses all the energy when it attacks, but it can immediately hit in for 130. That is very aggressive. I would not be surprised if that's actually, like, competitive. Tympole, Sandygast, and Tortuga, Skitty, Hippopotas, Sandslash, Sandile, and Frou-Frou. I think it was a different Frou-Frou. Skitty, Sandile, Whismur, Darmanitan, and another Jellicent. That is just not the full art one. That's the initial one. Hippowdon, Ferroseed, Skitty, Turtonator, and Pachirisu, and a shiny Litten. We've gotten actually like a shiny in almost every 10-pack. That's interesting. Marini, Drudgeon, Frou-Frou, Arrokuda, and a Metal EX. This is a 170 HP Metal, Stage 1. For double Metal and a generic, it's Headbutt for 80. And for triple Metal and generic, it's Metal Arms, which is 100 plus. If this Pokemon has a Pokemon Tool attached, it does 50 more damage. So it's 4 for 150. All right, we got Chatot, Sandile, Heatmore, Drapion, and Caracosta. And last but not least, we should get something in here because I'm pretty sure there was a rainbow. Pidgey, Whismur, Ferroseed, Absol. Oh, God, one of my absolute favorites. Ominous Claw for 50 and 2 dark. Flip a coin. If heads, your opponent reveals their hand. Choose a supporter card you find there and discard it. That seems giga oppressive to me, but we'll have to see. And it is a full art Hippowdon to wrap things up. So overall, we got some pretty decent hits. Can't really complain too much. Some of them weren't the best, but I mean, we did get a bunch of shinies. We got this shiny Dialga specifically. We got 2 of the Megas. We did not get Mega Gyarados, but we got Blaziken, and we got the full art Blaziken, and we got the Altaria. So overall, not too bad to kick things off to start for the new set, and there will still be plenty of more packs to open. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Let me know down in the comments which cards you're looking forward to pulling the most, and we will see you next time.